The future is here. An innovation that will change the way the industry works. A Hot 100 chart, updated daily. The most accurate price guide on the market. Every card has its own profile with a wealth of information. Know the precise, real-time value of any card in the system. On demand. You now have the power to unlock the secrets of the hobby. The game changer is here. Card Ladder.
What is going on here? Are we just reliving the glory?
Yeah, I like to watch the condensed game, the 10-minute highlight games.
What a game that was.
Yeah, pretty interesting game.
I said when we were chatting during the game, I said it was like I was watching an optical illusion. I'd never seen a game with a numerical score that close that was so unevenly matched and felt just like a total annihilation and blowout.
Seemed like they were up by 10 just like the entire game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they would 6 and then go back up to 18 and then 10 and then 12. It's just like back and forth.
Yeah, and like the Heat had a run in the third quarter, but Davis was phenomenal during that span. And then when it looked like there might be a crack in the door for them to do something in fourth quarter, LeBron slammed the door shut in their face.
Yeah, I never felt like they were going to lose. I guess it was just like, felt like they should have been blowing them out.
Yeah. Yeah. The Heat did some things well. They obviously scored a bunch of points in the third quarter, which was pretty impressive. But, especially when he got down there to the end of the fourth quarter, you're like, whose hands are we gonna put the ball in, to get a bucket? And it was just like,
Yeah, it felt like they couldn't have even scored enough points to come back at the end, let alone stop the Lakers.
Yeah.
The Laker lineup at the end was by far their best lineup. They have to play that more if they can. It's Rondo, KCP, Caruso, Davis, and LeBron.
Yeah, and it's a really tough lineup because it's big and small at the same time, because like LeBron was getting these offensive rebounds there at the end on a couple different possessions. And it was just like, man, is that Dwight Howard? Who is this grabbing these rebounds? It was LeBron. I mean, like just, that's a very difficult lineup to match up with.
I don't know why they play the zone when Rondo and LeBron are on the court. Both of those guys are too smart. Like they'll just put Rondo at the top, LeBron in the paint, and then just like dissect it really quick. I don't know why they're doing that. I get it when it's just Rondo and Davis because then they can just like force Davis out of the paint, but not with both of them.
Yeah. Youngster Ryan says, it was over when Kelly Olynyk was their number one option.
He was their best player tonight. Butler was just getting like every foul call. He was like so many free throws. There's like Butler just drives and like tries to draw fouls, and Olynyk was actually playing pretty well.
Yeah, they shot a lot of free throws tonight. They made a lot of them too.
They made 29 straight at one point. And they still couldn't catch up.
That's a lot of free throws.
I think Bam will be back in the next game. I'm not sure Bam's going to make enough of a difference, though. I thought Goran was a bigger difference for them.
Yeah. Yeah, and it just sounds like the nature of his injury means that, even if he did come back, he might not even be helpful to the team.
All right, ready to get started?
Let's do it. So, an exhausting day, and watching those games, man, it can be draining. It's crazy. Let me show a little mail day off. Everybody, welcome to the crossover Friday night hobby talk. I have a small mail day that I'll show off. This is a Christian McCaffrey 2019 Prism Gold vinyl. These are numbered to 5. These are really cool. Really cool cards. Boom.
Nice.
Okay. Sparky says, shout out to me being awake for this. Shout out to you indeed. Real soldiers out there coming in after that game. Glad to see you guys in here. Okay, so let's get to it. First of all, let's connect or dovetail basketball with hobby with a topic that has been huge in the hobby this week. And sports car investors, we're going to get to that question, buddy. He asked our running backs when to get hobby love. We'll get to that. Then the topic I want to talk about is Tyler Hero. So we have seen screenshots of a $31,000 RPA sale of Hero. His Black Shimmer 1 of 1 Prism BGS 9.5 just did 18.6K, I think, at auction. I know, there's lots of opinions on this. I wonder what you have to say on the topic of Tyler Hero. And shout out to Authentic Goods Only, who says the crossover is greater than this finals. That's a low bar, but we'll take it.
Yeah, I saw the Hero 31K sale. I honestly don't even believe that's real. There's just like a lot of screenshots to prove something that nobody asked you to prove. It was just, why are you posting all these screenshots of this sale? There's no buddy saying, "Oh, fake sale." Like it just seemed set up. I don't know why you would spend 31,000 on the fourth best player on the Heat. Like I get that he's young and he's exciting, but like he's got to prove it for a much longer time. Like Pierce said that on the pregame show or halftime show at one point. He's like, "Yeah, it's great. Like he's playing fantastic, but like I need to see it over like more than a 5-game sample size. Like this is cool." And we're seeing it now. Like tonight, he looked scared. Game 1, he looked scared. I forgot he was even on the court all the time. It's like he's only 20. I get it, and that's kind of the point. Is like we don't know what he is yet. He's so young. Like he needs time to develop. So I don't understand why you're paying big boy money. That's like 31 grand is like more than Kawhi Leonard and Anthony Davis RPAs. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. That is ridiculously insane. There's no way that's real.
That's what I was just going to say. How many RPAs out there are worth $30,000 or more in
Luka,
basketball?
Zion, LeBron, Curry.
It's not many. It's not many. I mean, is he like a top 10 RPA value right now?
Yeah. I mean, if that sale's real, it's just too much. Like that's like 5 times the price of Donovan Mitchell. And like his ceiling right now is Donovan Mitchell, in my opinion.
That's a good comp. That's a very good comp.
I don't know what's going on, man. I don't understand that stuff. Like that card's gonna be worth like 8K in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, I know his silver PSA 10 is about 1,200 for what that's worth. And the base is about 4.
That's more than Anthony Davis if you take into account market cap. Like, do I need to do like a Hero PSA 10 silver versus Anthony Davis? Like,
Maybe we do because
I'll even do the Anthony Davis PSA 9 plus PSA 10 market cap.
Yeah, and I mean the thing is with Hero, you never really know how many of these sales are being consummated. You just there's no way to know, so you have to use intuition and common sense and in experience to ask yourself, is this believable? And like if these are prices that are being paid, these guys got to be seeing something insanely special in Hero that personally I'm just not seeing myself.
I mean, he's exciting. It's great. Like he's a fun player, but like the problem, Chris, is that like when you try to like force somebody to be worth $30,000 for an RPA, you try to force their Prism Silver to be worth the same as like multi-time All-Stars. What ends up happening is that like you get people sucked into it and they buy into the hype and then they just get crushed and they lose a ton of money. That's the problem. Like I don't mind getting excited about a young player. I really don't. What bothers me and is bad is that people fall into this trap where like the smarter guys are holding a lot of that stuff and they wait for pre-game 1 to start dumping the hell out of it because they know that it's like super risky to be holding this stuff because he's so young. I just like, please don't fall for that stuff. Please like, don't go buy Tyler Hero cards right now. You're just gonna take a bath.
Yeah. And if you want to get Tyler Hero cards, there there will be probably no worse time than like right now to buy Tyler Hero cards.
I actually have a great thought on this. On like, so one thing is like people will say, or they'll think like, if I don't buy now, I'll never get a chance to buy him because he's gonna keep getting better and he's gonna get older. And dude, LeBron James had plenty of buying opportunities in the middle of his career. Like he'd been established as one of the best players in the game, multi-time MVP, and he had plenty of buying windows because like he flamed out in Cleveland, so he had to go to the Miami. A lot of people hated him for that, so his prices went down. There's always going to be buying opportunities for these guys, always. Like there's no player in NBA history who just went like untainted throughout their whole career and only went up. There's always going to be a point where like someone's down on them, no matter who it is. It seems like Mahomes is like one of the rare exceptions. He's just been lights out from the beginning. But that's just so super rare that you just got to be patient.
Yeah, can we just emphasize patience for a second?
Yeah.
Because patience is seems to be something that does not get talked about in the hobby at all. We are in the hobby content world. We are force fed. This is hot. This is hot. This is hot. Going up, going up, going up, going up, and it just creates the opposite of patience. It creates FOMO and urgency, and like I have to move now, or else I'll never be able to move again. And patience is definitely a way is like it can be like a huge advantage, like a weapon that you can wield to navigate this marketplace a little bit better. I
Yeah.
mean, we reached like the anti-patience moment in August. I mean, dude, you can look at just about any category of card, vintage, modern, blue chips, legends, rookies, prospects, Hall of Famers. Dude, everybody got really high in August, and now almost everybody has cooled off with a few exceptions. I mean, patience would have paid off at that point in time. Can you talk a little, what do you think about patience, and how have you used patience in your, hobby experience?
Um, let me put it this way. So you and I have been collecting for 4 years,
Yes.
and we're in our early 30s.
Right.
Do you intend to stop collecting in the next 10 years,
Nope.
20 years? Okay, so let's just like conservatively say you're like 1/10 through your collecting career. And if you look at what you have, 1/10 of the way there, knowing that you're going to get smarter and better, just can you even like fathom how huge your collection is going to be at the end of the road or whatever? No, it's going to be gigantic. It's going to be amazing. So like you have to sort of just like look at the totality of your collecting career and realize that this is like a marathon. It's really not a sprint. Like you can I get like the FOMO of like all this stuff but all this content, all this YouTube content around sports cards has really popped up in the last year. And we're seeing like all these crazy predictions and everything jumping up and down and all this crazy stuff all just in 1 year. So like if we try to space it out a little bit over maybe like 10 to 15 years, that might give you some more perspective on like how you want to pace yourself and think about it long term as opposed to like I'm leaving the hobby next year. I might as well just go ham and buy everything possible. If that's the way you're going to do it, it's fine. But I would think for a lot of us, we're going to stick around a little bit longer than that. So you really can't just like worry about what you're going to get today and try to like pace yourself.
I love that. That was so beautifully put. Think about your career as a collector and not just tomorrow or the next day, and think in those terms, and like think about and another thing that occurred to me after you said that was like, well, let's say 1 year from now, if I look back, will I feel like I rushed into buying a card for my collection I didn't need to rush into? Because I will be here a year from now collecting, and I don't want to look back and say I made a silly mistake because I was caught up in a whirlwind of a player who was being hyped.
Darrow D wants real information. What do you want to know, Darrow? Tell us what's not real.
Yeah, I mean, to some people, patience, that might seem really obvious, and if it does, like, great,
If it is,
congratulations.
I must have missed that on every single YouTube channel that I watch where there's like just making pics of different cards that have already gone up. I must have missed that.
Right. Right. And a lot of that content is focused on prospects. And because those are guys who see these really dynamic, quick peaks and valleys. You know, even for as an educational experience, add one of the all-time greats, Kobe, Jordan, LeBron. You know, add one of these guys to your collection, and you might get a lot of little insights and wisdom from participating in that particular category of collecting.
Dude, I feel like I could give everyone a freebie. Buy Tyler Hero cards in like 3 weeks from today, and you'll probably do well.
Yep.
Because like if you think about buying him right after everything's happened, and I'm not gonna say that they lose the series because it's not over, but let's just say they lose the series, his prices go down, people get bored of him, they move on to football. His prices are going to go down, 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 and then you buy him, and then the hype into next season, people are just going to pick up that hype again. They're not going to forget. They're just going to do it again. You just sell them.
Collecting the oil says top 5 patient picks from Josh. That's good.
Patient picks are like, oh man, patient picks. That's a good one.
That is a good one. It's tough.
Lebron. Kobe.
Right. Right. Exactly. I mean, and dude, we've seen some precipitous declines in value over the last month.
Give me
Brutal.
Dude,
Who is excluded from this? Tatum. You know, Tatum's prison-based PSA 10. And Tatum is a terrific all-NBA perennial caliber player. This is not a slight against Tatum at all.
oh my gosh, it's down below but pre-COVID, or sorry, pre-bubble.
Yeah.
Still way up from COVID.
Indeed. So look, if we were like looking at that as a timeline, you know, patience would have counseled to step back during the run-up to the unsustainable peak and just hold tight for a little while. And you know what the other thing that's nice about being patient is? It makes you figure out if you really want to collect this player and you really like this player, or if you're just into this player to try and, you know, penny trade and day trade stocks.
Man, Giannis is still going down.
Yeah, what's he at, about 3,000 now?
Yeah. He peaked at, oh my God, did someone really pay $7,000 for a base card? Oh my God.
So look, and look, so like what Josh is telling you is that we're probably at the peak moment for Tyler Hero right now, right? And once his the Hero mania wears off, there is a good chance that there will be a buying opportunity. And then you can also find out if you really like Hero or not, because you might be caught up in the moment of Hero and the hype of Hero, but like after the hype passes, do you still want to have Hero cards in your collection?
You know what stinks is I actually like Tyler Hero.
Yeah, me too.
I feel like it's hard to root for someone when people are hyping them on Instagram so much. It makes it hard, but maybe just like try to ignore that too. If you actually like the guy, I feel bad for you. If you're trying to just collect him for fun, it's hard because he's a fun, exciting player.
Dude, I found out I actually like collecting this guy because he has a high ankle sprain. He's on a terrible team. There's no hype around him right now. He's not going to set any fantasy records this year. But nonetheless, I'm enjoying picking up his cards anyway. Yep, there's another guy. I mean, dude, nobody is impervious from this. Dude, Dak Prescott is taking some heat right now as well.
Nice sale, Card Dog. Very well done. Sold at 6,800. I mean, Dak's doing pretty good. He's kind of holding firm here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like everybody, I think we saw this in the NBA and in the NFL. Everybody thought that their player was going to win the MVP and the finals championship going into the season, right? And like, then that didn't happen. And, you know, all of a sudden it was like, oh crap, like the excitement for this player is just draining quickly.
Michael Thomas, wow. way down.
Sparky,
Let's
what
move.
are you talking about? Mosaic gold? DM me.
Can you move on? We've beat this topic dead.
Yeah, yeah, but patience, guys. Okay. This is another cautionary topic. Boston Authentic. I put this at the top or just to warn people. Boston Authentic writes and he says, there is a scam being run on eBay selling quote unquote cards, but really they are vinyl stickers.
Huh.
And it is really bad for the hobby. And he's right. There's an account that's selling stuff on eBay and they put the word vinyl in there's some Lebron, there's all the big iconic cards are being sold and they're called like vinyl sticker, like vinyl or something. And they're getting bid up and they are not cards. They are listed as vinyl stickers or something. Yeah, they're on eBay. California card collectors see them. I've seen them too, dude, and I've seen them in people's story posts and stuff. And I just wanted to bring people's attention. Be aware of it. Be aware that this scam. Kobe 96 refractor. Yep, I saw that one too.
It's so weird, man. Hold on, let me look up that Kobe. I did see that one. Ugh. So annoying, man. So many weird scams on eBay. It's an auction. Wasn't it at like $10,000?
Yeah, I think so.
Did it get taken down? I can't find it.
Hopefully it did. What's up, 8209 Patrick?
It's an auction, right?
I think so, yeah.
Can't find it. Yeah. Keep a lookout for that.
Yeah, just it's unfortunate, but just wanted to raise some awareness about that. There are these vinyl sticker auctions going out that are not cards. Okay, Hometown Authentics writes in about this. I liked this one. He said, last week you talked about bugging someone to sell you a rare card, but what do you do if you are the owner of a rare card and someone keeps bugging you to sell it? What do you do in that situation?
Block them. You can block them, I guess, or just like be very, very, very firm and say like, I'm not selling this card. Please stop bothering me. I will block you. I don't know.
Okay. And then the second part of the question was, okay, well, let's say they keep bugging you. Well, how do you get the most value out of that situation? Like you figure, okay, this guy really wants the card. I'll let it go, but I want to make sure that, I put a price on this card that's the max that this guy's willing to pay.
Don't give them a price. Let them bid against themselves.
So ask them for an offer, basically, or like let them roll in with an offer.
Yeah, I mean, I generally don't like when someone's like, make an offer, but if I'm approaching someone else and they didn't post it for sale, it wasn't like they prompted me for sale, like it's within their right, and it's totally reasonable for them to just say like, I mean, I didn't make this for sale, but you can make an offer to me if you want. So I don't have a problem with that scenario. So if you're the buyer or if you're the seller in that scenario, just say like, yeah, man, like I didn't put it up for sale, but you're welcome to make an offer. And then they'll usually give you like the below market offer first to start, and you just kindly say like no thanks, and then they'll usually come back, and then you let them do that a couple more times, and you just keep like saying no thanks, and then eventually they'll make you a crazy offer. In some cases, that's happened to me a few times. Like when you actually would accept, so you don't just keep them dangling and leading them on or whatever. So like eventually have a price in mind, because if you don't actually have a price, then just like tell them I'm not selling.
Yeah, and I've found that if I don't want to be bothered for a card, I just say it's not for sale, and and if you say it like convincingly, like people tend to respect it because nobody wants to waste their time unless you're like a madman like me. And I've pestered people for years in some instances. Not
I mean, you can kind of you can get a small sense of like a glimmer of hope. So if someone just like totally shuts you down, then I'll leave it alone. If they leave a little glimmer, I'll keep bugging them.
Right. And the other thing is if somebody has a card that you want and you make them a strong offer and they say, no, thanks, I'm keeping this card, sorry, but
Shoot. You there?
Yeah, I'm still here, buddy.
All right.
Okay. All right. So Kaushik says, I sometimes tell people I may be interested in moving it in a couple months. Message me then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
All right. Sports Card Investors writes in, Josh has talked a lot about his prediction that football would take off and be closely associated with fantasy players. So do you guys still think that there is more to this than just being a quarterback hobby in football now that we are nearly a quarter way through the season? What do you think about that?
I mean, it did go up quite a bit, and now we're seeing it like kind of retreat based on like players not meeting expectations. But there are some like there's still a lot of guys that have gone up quite a bit since the season started based on fantasy play. It's mostly been quarterbacks though, to be honest. Like Rodgers went way up, Russell Wilson's gone way up, way up since the season started. Trying to think of like
Josh
running backs.
Allen as well has been doing very well.
What like receivers and running backs have gone up since the season started? It seems like most.
So like they seem to have a ceiling, but Calvin Ridley.
Oh, Ridley.
Doing very well right now. Shout out to one of the Card Ladder Pro Discord members who put Calvin Ridley on our radar.
Yeah, that one's gone way up since the season started.
Yeah. Yep. So and they these guys will go up to like $400 or in that range. I see the skills position guys going into like the $400 to $800 range for like their main rookie card.
Hopkins is right.
Yeah, I don't. Hopkins doesn't sell that much because the card's pretty low pop. Aaron Donald is that's the one that people seem to like right there. Aaron Donald seems to be Aaron Donald's like number 6 on the ladder right now for his Topps Chrome autograph rookie card. It's like $300 or so right now. Yeah, is that the autographed one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like what that's at about $300 right now?
Yeah, at the beginning of the season it was like under 150. It's gone up quite a bit.
Yeah. So like and these cards seem to like reach a ceiling, like people are comfortable getting into these cards all up to about $400, $500 right now, and like then we've seen like Thomas and McCaffrey and some of these other guys retreat. And dude, I mean, I saw a sale that blew my mind yesterday, though. Lamar Jackson, Prism-based BGS 9.5, which is a tough grade for that card, sold for like $474 the last time it sold. Man, I would have picked that card up probably for $474.
I bet Lamar way down right.
Yeah, he's coming down. The Prism-based PSA 10 has stabilized about 1,800. Still might have a ways to come down even more, though.
I mean, it peaked at 3,800.
Yeah, and I mean, the guy's having another great year. I think I saw a stat that he's like 21-1 against the league and 0-3 against Mahomes. Like, the guy is just sensational, and he's a winner. But I mean, that Chiefs game, man, it made people start thinking that this guy might not get to a Super Bowl as long as these Chiefs are going to be in the way.
Yeah, and like the running backs and receivers are obviously proving to be risky early on. Like all the top fantasy guys are down, like McCaffrey, Barkley, Julio, Adams, Thomas. They're like all hurt already, and they've all gone down in value. That's why I mostly bought like the more established older guys like Fitz and Randy Moss. But I do have quite a bit of Michael Thomas stuff that I'll just keep holding. I think like Thomas and Julio are still like pretty decent bets long term. They just have crazy career stats. They're just off to a bad start this year.
Yeah. And I mean, look, dude, everybody and their mother has gotten injured on the football field this year, it feels like. And that's tough, man. It's made this season tough to watch, just seeing everybody get banged up.
When you buy those guys, like I'd be buying Lamar Jackson and Michael Thomas right now.
Definitely. Back to collecting said Josh Allen is the Tyler Hero of football.
I mean, at least Josh Allen's been like the leader of a playoff team. I mean, Heroes had like that one good game. He had one good game, 35 points. Still like the 4th best player on that team.
dude, Lou Williams had a game where he went off for 35 points in this playoffs, also coming off the bench. You know, you need more than one good game to be elite. Now, but Josh Allen is a slightly different story. I'm gonna take issue with that comparison, even though it's funny. I'm pretty sure Josh Allen is leading the AFC in touchdowns, in yards, and in quarterback rating. The AFC.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, the guy is the best quarterback in the AFC right now. So
What?
you know, people are kind of high on him. I don't mean it. I don't mean it literally. I don't mean he's better than these other guys. But I mean, like, you look at his stats. He's an exciting AFC quarterback right now. Is he better than Mahomes? He's not even close. Is he better than Lamar? No, he's not even close. But I mean, look, the guy's having a good first 3 games. All right.
Yeah.
No, I definitely fumbled my statement there, but he's having a very good first 3 games. So look, that's a little bit of a different situation. All right. But what's going to happen to Josh Allen guards? I mean, it's what happens if the Bills lose 2 games in a row? What happens if he has a bad game?
Yeah, this is why I was saying you can play it the week to week. Like, sell Josh Allen right now and buy Lamar Jackson and Michael Thomas. That's what I meant by the week to week. Like, you can see there's tons and tons of overreaction after 3 weeks. So just like play to those, you know, do the opposite of what everyone else is feeling.
For sure. So like, look, I'm going to bring in a question now because it relates to this. It comes from Cooks C LLC. He says expectations versus achievements. What drives prices more?
Expectations.
Yes. Yes, it does. And that's kind of the theme here, right? Is like we have these crazy expectations going into the season that almost nobody can live up to. I mean, man, Mahomes' Prism Silver PSA 10 has come down. Like, why? Like, dude, the Chiefs look like the best team in football, and it's not even close.
Since the season started, that card's gone down.
Yeah, that makes very little sense.
Well,
Unless,
look at the
yeah.
It was run up.
Yeah, just an insane run up.
It's almost like every card when COVID hit, like every single card did this, and then the guys who are meeting expectations are going down at this rate, and everyone else is going down at this rate.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And you know, patience, man. I don't know. I felt like that's a good theme for right now. But achievements can make things happen in the market too, but not maybe what you would expect. So like the premise of this question is like expectations and achievements. Both of these things drive prices. Well, achievements initially bring cards to market, and they can create an increase in supply. And like collectors can really find a sweet buying window if they've been patient and like you waited, like let's say you waited for Mahomes to win the Super Bowl. He won the Super Bowl, and then you decided to buy his Prism Base PSA 10 or silver. You know, it's the same thing. There is no non-shiny version of that card. Dude, you would be up like 6x right now had you bought his rookie card after that Super Bowl. And we saw that happen. Like I was looking at Tom Brady data not long ago. After numerous Tom Brady Super Bowls, his cards actually like had a small dip, and like collectors were able to pounce on it. So like achievements can almost have the opposite effect. Achievements are like for sellers, like sellers capitalize on achievements, and like buyers overindulge on expectations. So like if you can like get on the other side of both of those, if like you can sell to the expectations people and buy from the selling achievements people, that seems to be a way to, you know, get in.
Yeah, it seems like the achievements are generally like expected to some degree. Like we kind of expect LeBron to be in the finals. We expect Mahomes to do well in the playoffs last year. Like this Chan.B pointed out. So like there's usually not a huge price jump when the achievement happens because it's generally expected. But then what happens is there's usually a run up sort of like a few months later or over time, because then people like have settled into that new achievement and they're just like, you know, the demand increases for that player over time. So like eventually they catches up. I remember in 2016 when LeBron won that huge championship, which was totally unexpected, his prices didn't really like explode. And I think because like you said, supply kind of went up to everyone trying to cash in on that crazy comeback in the 3-1. But his prices didn't like go bananas at that time. Over the course over the next like 6 months, they sort of like slowly exploded, you know.
Definitely. Yeah, there's like the long-term dimension to this stuff is amazing, right? Because like, and it even mystifies me sometimes. Michael Jordan cards, like the 86 Fleer PSA 10 is a great example. That card has just been on a roller coaster ride. Like it was like a solid 30 to 40K card earlier this year. Last Dance hits and it goes up to 100. Last Dance is over and people are bored and they're done with the excitement of Jordan, and then it's just back to the real collectors again, and it goes down to like 60 to 70, and now it's back up to like 100 again, and I'm just kind of mystified. But that seems to be kind of like what happens is like you have these like this moment, this like post euphoria where people are just like temporarily just kind of over it, and that's when the real collectors clean up, because real collectors don't get phased by the moments. You know, oh, the hype is high now and the hype is low now. No, if you love a player and you collect a player, you buy peaks, you buy dips, you buy it all, and you ride through it. And those type of players who have those type of collectors, those markets tend to do very well over time.
Yeah, I think Kaushik's pointing out something interesting. And full disclosure, I have a lot of LeBron cards, so LeBron pump hype coming your way. If they win the championship this year, I don't see his cards exploding in value right now, even though it's like pretty much expected that they're going to win at this point. And if they do, I don't anticipate like a huge explosion in his card values, but I do expect a pretty good run up leading up to next season, where it's like, okay, he's like, we've settled into him winning this ring, and like, we're building up for next year. Is there going to be a potential dynasty with the Lakers because AD sticks around and they're looking really strong going into next year? That's when I think you'll see the run up on LeBron stuff over the next 6 months.
Dude, totally. And it's hard to suss it out. What was the cause of the LeBron run up that we saw that has stabilized pretty well in like every single LeBron rookie card, like literally 5 to 8 to 10x, E-tops, the 2003 LeBron E-tops PSA 10. I remember putting that into Card Ladder a week or two ago and just looking at the chart, the 1 year chart, and just being amazed that this is not considered the premier brand LeBron, and the card is 5 to 10x. It was somewhere. I know it's a wide range. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it went up so high. It's like a mountain. The climb, the slope of that graph, and that's something we saw across all the LeBron cards. So it's almost like the hobby was expecting a terrific season from LeBron. They wanted to get his cards and enjoy those cards throughout the playoffs. Once the playoffs started, people had their cards. There were some people late to the party who were still buying throughout the playoffs. And now those people made a great bet, and they got cards, and they got to experience, a great playoff run, a masterful playoff run that featured 3 straight 4-1 series and looks like it might be capped off with a 4-0 series. I mean, dude, there's not many things as fun in the hobby as collecting a great player and having great cards of that player and enjoying that player's playoff run with all the other collectors of that player. I mean, that's kind of like the peak of the hobby. So, like, I feel like people loaded up, they got their LeBrons, they had high expectations, he met them. And then, like Kaushik said, we're probably going to see the same thing going into next year because, like you said, this Lakers team, they ain't getting any worse. And as the playoffs rolled on and Rondo rounded into form and Dwight Howard, played extremely well given what the expectations were, and Caruso keeps getting better, and they could add a little bit more shooting. That wouldn't be too hard to do. Like, the team looks pretty darn good going into the future as well.
Yeah. And the same great points, man. The same like rules apply here. Like the rare stuff, like the more sought after stuff is gonna hold better during this next 6 months and go up and appreciate more because, like someone pointed out, as LeBron prices climb up in anticipation of this and into the offseason, like the more common stuff's going to come out more, that people are just going to start to like cash in a little bit more because it's gone down recently and they'll want it to go back up and then they'll start cashing out again. So that stuff will just kind of do its thing and like make its ups and downs and stuff and not really do too much. But like that really, really rare stuff that comes out once a year or whatever, if it comes out 3 months from now, that stuff's going to go way up, I think, because people are just like waiting for it to come out.
Dude, absolutely. Okay, so like I want to touch on Kaushik's comment as well. He said basically next season you will need to be wary of base. The downturn has been big. New investors will turn collector and get smarter. And I think I can tie that into a couple of questions that we got. So let me take it in this direction first. So Mahomes, no, not that one. There's a couple of questions on securitizing, right? So Devin Corrant, 37, writes in, will companies that are securitizing cards be bad for the hobby long term? Okay, so that's a bit of a loaded question. And David, Riverfront Collectibles, writes in and says, with the recent growth of apps like Rally seemingly popping up every week, are we looking at a future of people flexing how much percentage they own in a card, which is a bit tongue-in-cheek, right? But there's something to it. So here's the connection I want to make. People who are into cards purely for collecting and who are understanding that rarity and scarcity and iconic nature of cards is what makes them collectible and makes their market strong over the long term. Are we seeing, now that like people would rather buy shares in like a card like that, whether it's like a Trout orange refractor, like Rally, I think just sold one of those. 86 Flair Jordans are being sold. LeBron, I think his SP Authentic auto was recently securitized and shares were sold off. Is that a way that investors who just want to get cards, strictly to see their money increase, is this a way that they can channel their interest in the hobby and sort of protect themselves against the dynamic fluctuations that base cards have?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty interesting option for guys that want to invest in sports cards but don't necessarily care about they don't care about the getting the cards and shipping and all that stuff. It's a pretty like decent option for those guys. But I think it's just gonna be treated more like stocks in that case. Like I don't really see people flexing their stocks too much. I think the flex kind of comes with like the beauty of the cards in most cases. There's not a lot of people like flexing their checking accounts and like flexing their stock portfolio growths. Maybe I'm just not seeing that, but like big investors like that, those types of guys that usually like to kind of stay under the radar and just like do their thing and make their money. But it seems like it's a pretty like growing thing right now. I still like won't ever get into it just because I like the chase of the actual cards themselves, and I feel like I can do better with it than the marginalized stuff. But I just don't have enough information about it. I just don't like understand it that much.
Yeah, I know. I err in the same direction you do. I'm just not a guy who buys and sells shares of things. That's just not my lane. My lane is buying and selling sports cards. But but here's the thing. So we have several of these entities that have sprung up now. And I know the founders of one of them. And dude, these are people who have like put their entire lives into the belief that they will work day and night to build this platform to sell shares and cards and comply with all regulations and do all types of stuff to make this possible. I mean, these people are dead serious about this and they really believe in it and they put everything into it. And even in a group chat, I mean, guys who are super respected collectors I admire and look up to, they are buying shares in cards because they see it as a good investment. And these are also great collectors. So, I look at the totality of it, and just because it's not for me doesn't mean that it won't work or that it won't be something interesting to happen in the hobby.
It's a good like way to diversify. Maybe I know a lot of people that in the hobby that have bought shares in Collectors Universe, the parent of PSA. And I know those guys have done really, really well. So it's kind of like
Yeah.
we have the insider secret to know that like cards are taking off right now, and we have good reason for that to happen. Like we know why it's happening because we're in the hobby and we just like we understand it. So like you can sort of capitalize on your own knowledge of the hobby and just like buy shares of something quicker, knowing that it's going to go up than it would be to accumulate rare sports cards. You know, it's just like a quicker, easier way to make money with your knowledge.
Yeah, no, it is. And, so here's a just a wild thought that comes to my mind right now. Okay, so if you know that these funds are springing up and you know that the items that they're targeting are like rare, high-end, iconic cards, these funds are still raising money. I know that to be a fact. And, if you want those type of cards, the window on those might be closing. Or I guess another thing that I'm saying is like it might. We preached patience earlier, but when the fundamentals have changed and you're looking at some really high end nice cards, if you think that the fractional ownership model is going to work successfully in cards and we're going to keep moving in that direction, you might want to think about making your move now. And that leads into a question from Mahomes Cards. This is a topic that you have been a pioneer on and a leader on. You've probably talked about it more times than you care to, but we keep getting questions on it from time to time.
Consolidation?
Yes. So Mahomes Card says, how have you approached consolidation to fund your higher end PC purchases?
I've talked about this a couple times. I've had 3 people approach me this week about them consolidating and like asking me for advice on it and stuff like that. And those 3 people have the cards that I would expect someone to have that wants to consolidate. It's usually like pretty decently high-end cards of like a really good player like LeBron and Patrick Mahomes. But none of them are like, the super rare. So I think those guys are just like at the point where they're getting an itch to like get something really, really rare and something fun and unique, and get away from the PSA 10 refractor type stuff maybe. So I understand why they're getting to that point, and it's like a natural progression. But I've told all 3 of them the first thing to do is just try to like sell a few of them and like get a feel for the selling part, because both of them don't sell a lot. They just like have been accumulating. So I think it's good to just get a couple sales out of the way, and don't even like try to ask the world and that stuff. Just like sell it for market or a little bit under market. Just sell it, even if you think this might go up. I can make more money if I wait 3 months or whatever. But if that's where you're headed, then just like sell it, kind of rip the Band-Aid, so to speak. Just like rip the Band-Aid, sell a couple things, see how it feels, and then sort of like get the ball rolling that way. Well, yeah, I mean it's kind of like a natural evolution in the hobby, and I totally get it, and I understand why you're at that point. So, and a couple of them, like, they want to sell $100,000 worth of stuff and buy like one $100,000 card, and I think that's great. Go for it.
Yeah. I had a very successful experience selling close to 24 cards with PWCC in June.
Yep.
It required a lot of patience because, I send the cards in May, they list in June. The collections period in which PWCC secures payment ends like mid-July. Yep. And then, you're getting paid out like mid to late July.
Yeah.
So that has to be, if you want to take a hands-off passive approach, like you really got to think about what the method of selling is, because it can take time to turn cards into money if you want to do it the easy and also maybe the safer way, which is sending them to a prestigious auction house.
Yeah. There's also like there's like not a good time to buy or sell LeBron and Jordan. Like I get asked that question a lot. Like, when should I buy, sell LeBron and Jordan? There's not really like a good answer to that, right? Like it's like always going up. It's just like buy it today, I guess, and sell it whenever you. There's not like a good, like, I guess Jordan but like, so are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me? You were just breaking up a little bit.
Oh, I was just saying like there's not really ever a good window to buy and or sell LeBron and Jordan. I don't know if that's any different.
No, it's true. I mean, it can vary on like certain cards, like especially base cards. Base cards can move up and down. They can move up the fastest of any type of card, and they can move down the fastest of any type of card. So like with those, maybe you can be successful timing them properly. But for the blue chip caliber cards, we're talking the 96 chrome refractor Kobe, 03 chrome refractor LeBron, stuff like that. Like if you're waiting for a crash, you might be waiting for a really, really, really long time.
Timing with consolidation, selling high would mean buying high. Consolidating is kind of like selling your home and then buying a new home. It's like it doesn't really matter when you do it, like you're sort of just like, oh, this is a buyer's market, seller, whatever. Like you're either gonna like be in a market where home values are really high and you're gonna get a really good value on selling your home, and then you're gonna have to spend it right back on buying a new home that's overpriced, or the reverse. So like it's kind of the same concept where it's all like equally relative in points, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Unless they're like consolidating down from a shit ton of Tyler Hero cards down into like someone that's down right now, like Zion or something like that.
Dude, that's not a bad move at all when you think about something like that.
Like I sold a ton of like Lamar recently, and then now I'm just like spending it on basketball because they're down.
Yeah, so that ties into a question that came in from Putnam Cards. Putnam Cards says, is now the time to buy NBA for next season?
I feel like you're asking that question because you know the answer.
I mean, I have an opinion on it.
Yeah, we always know this is the best time. NBA Finals, yes. The answer is yes.
Yep.
I mean, you've got another month or so.
Yep. And the one thing about this finals that's a little weird is that, like, there's very little uncertainty about what's going to happen. So that almost means this finals isn't such a distraction from other players that like normally the finals is. Like normally it's just like all eyes on the finals, like selling and buying of other players halts for that 2-week period. But like now it's like we already know what's happening in the finals. It's not quite as captivating and drama filled as it usually is. So like this might not be the like most ideal finals, but like
I don't know, man. All those other guys are going down still.
Yep, they are.
Yeah, I guess there's like a pretty huge population of America that's just like focused on football already or the baseball playoffs. So I think now's a pretty decent time to buy basketball, especially given that like okay, so it went up super fast and then it went down super fast. I think there's going to be a good portion of people that are like, maybe I missed out on like the initial surge up. Like now I can get back. Now it's like finally gone down. I can get back in, or now I can finally like get back to collecting and flipping cards or something. So it'll just sort of like correct itself back up, I feel like.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's amazing how it works, but like every player seems to reach a floor. And then I'm not sure exactly why that floor is so strong. But like, obviously we know that there are people with enormous bankrolls who basically set price alerts for the price at which they want to buy a card. And if the card goes down low enough, they just buy it at that price. And so like we see like Luka Prism base PSA 10. I mean, it's like amazing to me that like the card hits $1,200 and then it just stays. It's astonishing. So we have Kevin Durant's 2007 Topps Chrome Refractor here in a BGS 9.5 quad gems. What's the story on this card?
It went way down, so I bought it. I don't know. Not much of a story.
No, I mean, yeah.
Buying cards when they go way down it's honestly like one of the easiest ways to make money in the world. like Durant's kind of a dingus, and he says a lot of stupid crap. But like this card was $10,000. This card was 10 G's a month
Yeah.
ago,
Yeah.
and I bought it somewhere in this range.
Okay. There
I
you
mean,
go.
I don't think it's going to be 20K next year, but I feel like once playoffs come back, or once the season comes back, and like KD hasn't played in a year, it just seems like pretty safe to me.
There you go. Love the numbering on it too. CZ cards. I'm just finding all these like ways to just thread these questions in today.
Coach Kyrie, that's the best comment of the night.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm not super optimistic on the Nets myself.
I'm not either. I just like Kyrie is such a doofus, man. Why can't he just? There's a guy that I want to shut up and dribble. I don't like saying that phrase to those guys because I understand why they don't want it said, but Kyrie needs to shut up sometimes.
Okay. So CC's card says a serial numbered cards versus non-serial numbered cards that have low print runs. I have a take on this. I like serial numbering better, and I think that's like not a popular opinion. I think some people love the idea of like non-serial numbered cards. You don't know how many are out there. It might be 10, it might be 15. You don't know. That seems to maybe make them more appealing and more valuable. But I like the serial number. But what's your take on that? Serial numbered versus non?
I love serial numbered cards. It feels so good. I don't know, like you just know exactly how many there are. And so like people like the rarity side of it, not knowing how many there were. But if you know, like especially for 90s basketball, dude, when it's like serial number to 50 and there's not 50 of those. It's something about that is like this thing's already rare, like on paper, and it's probably even more rare. So there's like the rumor of it being more rare, and there's the proof of it. I just love that.
Yeah, I love it too. And coming from a collecting era like the 90s where like even most of the rare cards are not serial numbered, it made me absolutely like adore and revere serial numbering. I just think serial numbering is fantastic.
It's like a 90s auto when they didn't really serial number, like as much as they do today back in the 90s. So like to have a serial numbered 90s auto is so freaking sick. I love it.
That's rarity on top of rarity when you have.
And there's 100 of these. I've seen like 3 of these in 4 years. There's no way that there's like 100, like that can be accounted for.
Yeah. No, definitely. Levi's PC says, "What about modern serial numbered cards?" I still feel the same way. I love having a serial number for the same reasons, but the serial numbering means it means something a little bit different in the modern context when there's many serial numbered cards.
Yeah, it bothers me. I just don't like all the parallels. There's too many. I mean, I personally think that the hobby is just going to like naturally ignore the masses of the serial numbers and just sort of focus in on the best ones anyways. So like Panini they can keep doing that if they want, but I'm being proven wrong with this white sparkle 50K shit, but Jesus. Like maybe I am just wrong on that, but I just feel like the gold, silver stuff, like overall the market cap of those is just going to dominate.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and we need that. We need our own organic internal market forces that protect us against Panini coming out and pressing 10,000 one of ones. We need that, and we should think that way. It's a good thing that we think that way, and we say, look, we're not gonna spread our interests too thin, and we're not gonna capitulate to the idea of like scarcity that isn't tied to iconic.
Yep, I was going to say that's why it's iconic and rare, because if it was just rare, it would be all the 101 stuff nobody cares about, and if it was just iconic, it would only be, like 86 Flair base cards and stuff, but it's the combo. It's definitely the middle tier of the middle ground of the two.
Are we running up against our hour here?
Yep, so if you got like maybe one more question, and then we got hour 2 for changing up the vibe.
Change of the vibe. Okay, so this one comes from B Sullivan 23, and I'm going to ask it because we have Card Ladder compare tool pulled up. He said Curry's Topps base rookie card And he said, why is it more expensive than LeBron's top space rookie card, PSA 10?
Okay.
And like I looked at the question beforehand, and technically it's not. The Curry is like about $400 cheaper. It's like 4,800 versus like 4,300. And then I looked at the pops, and like the pop on the Curry is like 300, and the LeBron is like 1,700.
Yeah, so it's just market cap again. Like the market cap of the LeBron is 8 million, and the market cap of the Curry is 1.5 million. So pretty simple. That's why we talk about market cap so much on this show. Is it just is like the great equalizer. So like you can like fudge the numbers all you want with some of this stuff. Like, oh, this card's more expensive, but like, okay, what's the market cap of the two? Well, one's 8 and one's 1. Okay, so this one's like, 6 times more valuable. So.
Definitely. And I think that LeBron would be even more iconic, and no disrespect to the card as is, but I think it would be even more iconic if it contained the 2003 Topps Chrome photograph, because the Curry Topps base and Chrome contain the same photograph.
Good call, man.
Yeah.
Good call. That LeBron got up to, oh my gosh, 8,500. Holy smokes. I've never liked that card. He looks in a white suit. It's just like, ugh. It doesn't remind me of basketball. It's just like he's not even playing.
No, yeah, but I mean, like, I would, that would be like a fun like 50th card to add to LeBron PC, because it'd be a nice change of pace.
Yeah, but
not as like the main. Okay, question about Card Ladder Marketplace. How are your sales going? Do you post them to your Card Ladder stats? The Marketplace is really cool. Go ahead, Josh.
We do when it's a Card Ladder card that you've sold, but if it's like a personal card that we don't have in the ladder, we can't like put that into the ladder. We are tracking the sales every time a sale's made. We keep it in our database. We don't have like a way to show all the sales yet, and that's by design, but we are keeping the ones that are in the ladder, and we're integrating them into our system and like vetting them just the same as we vet anything else, right?
Definitely.
But we didn't talk about the Marketplace at all, but we did launch this week, Marketplace. So if you want to check it out, sign up for Card Ladder. It's popping off. We got a bunch of people listing cards for sale. Just another place to go buy, sell, trade sports cards. And we have there's no fees. It's just the membership to get into Card Ladder, and then the search is really, really sick. The search is really strong, filtering. You can sort by all kinds of stuff that you would expect, and yeah, just another sweet tool in Card Ladder.
It is. Dude, there's so much good, fun ways to use Card Ladder right now and to like enjoy cards. And I'm loving the Marketplace because I'm just loving seeing other people's cards and like seeing what they have and what they're valuing at, and like what, why are they selling it now? And like some people I think are just like showing off their cards too, just like we do on eBay and anywhere else.
How is it not out of time? I'm just gonna start heading into the living room.
Okay.
It's like should be time. Maybe did Instagram remove their 1 hour? I'm gonna move.
Go ahead. Yeah.
All right, I'll see you guys.
Hour, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, you can sell wax for sure, and you can buy wax. All right, guys. I'll see you in a little bit, like 5 minutes.
Yep.
The future is here. An innovation that will change the way the industry works. A Hot 100 chart, updated daily. The most accurate price guide on the market. Every card has its own profile with a wealth of information. Know the precise, real-time value of any card in the system. On demand. You now have the power to unlock the secrets of the hobby.